From the familiar here.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Good morning. Welcome. Today is a special day, even more special than all the Sunday mornings. But it is with great joy, happiness, and more than everything, gratitude that I have my friend Marcio here with us that will be talking about Fraternity, which is the name of our place. So I'm very excited to have him here talking about Fraternity and also about this wonderful project that is Fraternity Without Borders. As usual, we'll start with our prayer and then I'll pass the word to Marcio, and we'll have a great time. Cool. Awesome. All right, so let's take a deep breath, raise our thoughts, our sentiments, emotions, and prayers to our Father God, to Jesus, our Master, and to all our guardian angels and the spiritual team that helps us and guide this work here at FSS, and be grateful for one more morning that the sun is shining, that we are here and we have this opportunity to learn a little bit more about Fraternity, learn more about Jesus' teachings, and be grateful for this second home of love that provides us this space where we can talk, we can reflect, and hopefully we can leave here feeling a little bit better than when we first came. And let's ask and pray that the guardian angels guide us in this Sunday morning with good reflections, and that our meeting be blessed with love, with fraternity, compassion, serenity. So be it.
Thank you, Luis. Thank everybody for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here today. I was part of Toronto Spirit Society, and Fraternity Spirit Society have been together for a while now, exchanging information and knowledge, and I'm very pleased to be here with you all. Thank you very much for having me. And the theme for today, we're going to talk about one passage of the Spirit's book, in the introduction. So we're going to talk about fraternity with these guys that probably knows everything. They have very high expectations from you. So I start searching for information and what is the word fraternity we could find in the Spirit's book. In the introduction, it had this: a bond of love and fraternity unites all humans. The strongest help the weakest. And I thought that was perfect to introduce this topic before talking about Fraternity Without Borders, because this is so deep, it's so important to us as a spiritists, right? To unite us in love, in fraternity. We always say that we are what? All brothers and sisters, right? We all come from the same Creator, and we all together here to grow as human beings, to help each other. So, as a spiritist, I think the fraternity is one of the most important things that we need to understand and we need to connect to. So, what fraternity means, right? What that means exactly is that we are all brothers and sisters. What else? It also means that we give mutual support to each other. We are here to grow together, right? We all know that we are incarnated for what? For our own moral evolution. But how do we do this? In the Spirit's books, we learn that it's not alone. It's not being at home by myself. It's being in a society. It's being together. It's helping each other. It's learning from each other. You're not going, because if we're supposed to have a moral growth by ourselves, each one of us would be in a different planet, living our own lives by ourselves. But that's not the case.
A planet for ourselves.
Yes.
I do that.
Why not?
Why not?
Imagine being alone in a planet,
Yeah.
right? So there is a reason. So we are all together. So fraternity is that we help each other. And the Spirit's book is also says, true fraternity implies selflessness and the renunciation of the personality. So that means that we're gonna do this, we're gonna give to each other without expecting anything in return. That is also in the Gospel according to Spiritist and the Medium's book, right? What I get for free, I give for free. So as a Spiritist, not only the mediumship that we don't need to give for free, but our love, our care for other people, we do that for free too. We don't expect anything in return, right?
It should be a service.
We should be in service, exactly. And that is the next thing that I have here. Capacity to love, to serve, and to unite that forms the foundation of true fraternity. So love and serve. Serve each other. Serve a bigger cause that goes above all of us. That is making this planet a better planet. So why is this so important, right? And why is this important when we all go through trials, expiation, right? We're not here, everybody happy, and it's not because we live in Canada that is better than Africa, some countries in Africa, that we're not suffering. We have our own suffering, right? We go through our difficulties too, but fraternity brings that we all go through our difficult times, but we are here to help each other. And when we do that, even the moments that is the hardest moments for us, we're gonna get in return the peace that we are looking for. So I don't know if you have ever experienced that, but when I'm in most troubles and my mind is not in the right place, what do we do first? We pray. We get the help from the heaven, from these good spirits that guide us. So they are there to inspire us, right? And then we have the energy to go and do something for someone else, right? In the Genesis it says, only moral progress can assure people of happiness on the earth by restraining evil passions. It alone can enable harmony, peace, and fraternity to reign. So our moral progress is totally connected to our fraternity. How much we are seeing each other as brothers and sisters. How much we're helping each other to grow, right? How we are progressing as a group, and not only individually, right? We help each other. And we need to remember that we are never alone. So going back to the first thing that I found in the Spirit's book, the strongest help the weakest. So we are not alone. As I said, when we are in trouble, we pray, we ask our guardian angels, and they are the strongest one in this moment to help us. Right? So we need to remember that. For me, it's always important to reinforce the importance of prayer. Right? We don't understand. I don't. Sometimes, prayer, we pray, and then things come and happen. The energy, the universal fluids, blah, blah, blah. So how all that works, for me, it's very, very difficult concept. So I do the best that I can when I'm praying to, okay, I know you guys are there. I don't know where, I don't know how, but please help me, right? So they are the strongest one in this moment. They are the ones that are going to help us. So we need to keep in mind that we're not alone. We're never alone. They're always there for us. Right? And that connects to charity. And we know in Spiritism, charity is number one thing. And charity and fraternity, it's connected to each other. The moment that you're doing charity, the moment that you're doing true charity, that you're not expecting nothing back, that is fraternity. So there is no way to disconnect the two things. You know, you're doing charity, you're being fraternal, right? So in the Gospel according to Spirit, it says, the most beautiful expression of fraternity consists not only in giving material aid, but also in offering support through kind words and gestures, in sharing the burdens of others with empathy and understanding. That's again for us to remember that charity is not about giving something material to someone else, right? We, as brothers and sisters, we can help each other with a word. You know, sometimes not even a word, just a hug, something that I'm terrible with words. So if someone come to me, I don't know what to say, I need to process everything before saying anything. So the first thing is hugging the person, feel compassionate about that, you know, and not try to solve the problem for the person, because we know always have the answers, right? But at least we're there for them. And that is true charity that we should keep in mind. So we practice fraternity in that way of helping each other. And then the Medium's book says, moral progress will break down the barriers that separates people and will bring down class prejudice and silence the antagonism between sects, teaching people to regard one another as brothers and sisters who are called to mutually help one another and not live at one another's expense. So again, the Spirit's book can bring it to us that we must help each other. And as we think about the Spirit's book, the Medium's book, it's about the connection between our incarnated world and the spiritual world. How we connect the dots between what we're doing here with the spirits that are there helping us, and we are helping them as well. We know that the spirits that are there, they are not all happy and involved. It would be great if we incarnate here and then boom, we are evolved in spirit. No, we are not. We are just as we are here. As we leave this body, we're gonna be exactly the same person on the other side, right? That's what we learn from the Spirit's book. So we need to keep that in mind, that we are helping them the same way that they are helping us. So we need to bring all this together, and all people together, regardless their religion, regardless where they live, regardless where where they came from, etc. So we keep that in mind, that we are here as brothers and sisters and are together. So let's talk about what means to the strongest help the weakest. So I said we are all going to struggles, right? But one of the most beautiful things in fraternity is when we feel the pain of the other person, as well as we can feel the joy with someone else, right? As we live in this society, as we live as a family, friends, co-workers, it doesn't matter the situation that we are in, but the moment that we can understand that we are all together and we suffer when someone else is suffering, we feel joy when someone else feel joy as well. You know, I see a family member getting to the university or college that they want to, feel happy for that person. A co-worker that got promoted, feel happy for that person. Even though sometimes we don't, we all govern all of that, and we need to believe in that. So supporting one another it's not only giving, but feel the joy when someone else gets something that is good for them, right? We be happy for the other person, and it's very, very easy for us to feel happy for ourselves, but this bringing that to the other people is also bring joy to us. We need to learn how to feel happy for the other people. In the gospel again, it says, the greatest charity is the one that is done with greatest amount of disinterest without any expectation of repayment. So again, the strongest one, helping the one that is in need without expecting anything in return, right? And it's easier, in my opinion at least, that do something without expecting anything in return to homeless, right? It's easy to do for a project in Africa that you don't see the person, right? It's not that easy when it's close to us, to your partner, your family, you know. Sometimes we expect from them to give back to us. Well, I did this for you, I expect you to do the same for me, you know, next day. So we need to learn how to do that for the people around us, closest to us. Because, as I said, to a homeless, to someone else that you don't know, that's way easier. You give, you go, you even forget, you know. You might remember in the Nosso Lar, the story of the André Luis, that he didn't know that the person that was there, her husband got treated for free, right? He knew, but he didn't thought about it, and she was the one praying for him. So we never know where those prayers, when we need them most, will come from. We never know the people that we help, that sometimes we don't even realize that we're helping. How many times you heard, oh, remember when you said that to me? That changed my life, or that, you know, made this difference in my life. And you go, oh, really? I don't even remember that, you know? So we need to have more of those moments in our lives that we can help without even expecting anything to return. And I reinforce, especially people around us, you know, if you're partners. I think partners is one of the hardest ones, not expect anything in return. So one of the questions that I want us to reflect about is, how can we be the source of strength for others? How can we practice fraternity in our own lives? No, there's no right answer to that. There's no yes or no answer to it. Every single person will need to go through it and figure it out. Figure out how we're gonna do that. How you're gonna practice fraternity and be there for others without expecting anything in return. But we know that one of the greatest things, it's in the Spirit's book, right? What we need to do to continue growing is knowing ourselves. So the moment that we know ourselves, we do this internal analysis. Who am I? What I have been doing? What are my thoughts, goals when things happen, right? St. Augustine, the Gospel according to Spiritist, says, every night, before going to bed, before sleeping, start thinking what I did today. What are the greatest things that I did? What are the things that I regret and I should fix? You know, that is the way that we know ourselves, that we get to know who I really am. You know, and then one thing that a friend said once in Toronto to me was like, you know what? We always need to do that and keep in mind the laws, the God laws that we have in the Spirit's book, part 3, if I'm not mistaken, right? That talk about different laws, etc. So it's comparing what we have been doing to those laws. or even what Jesus would do in this situation. So if we always need to compare it to something, to say, is this good or bad, right? It needs to be a comparison. And the first thing is our own conscience, because we know God loves and our conscience. Right? It's there. At the Spirit's book, one of the first questions, I don't remember which one, but one of the first questions it says, it's there. It's in us. It's there already. But we don't remember everything, we don't, we didn't have access to all of that yet. Spirit's book, part 3, the loss. Let's compare to that. That helps a lot. Jesus, Spirit's book again, one of the most evolved spirit that incarnated, Jesus. So the gospel of Jesus, what is telling us, right? That's the way that we can start analyzing, knowing better about ourselves. Another funny thing that this person said, I said, oh, it would be great to have our plan. When we incarnate, we all have that plan, right? This is what you're going to go through, this is what you need to learn, blah, 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 but we forget, and then when you would go back, oh, I forgot this, oh, this I didn't complete. And I said, it would be great to have. And I said, no, well, we don't need it, because if we know ourselves and we compare to the loss, there, you will know what you have to work on. So again, it's a easy way, knowing ourselves, comparing to that, and will be helping us to guide us where I should go, what I should do different, So I want you guys to, as you live today, you think about it, how you can be the source of strength for others. So what is you doing great that you could help others with? What people there is around you, and I think fraternity, we learn at home, right? We're not in a family for no reason. Okay, I'm gonna put Marcio here for whatever reason. No, everything has a reason to be. So starting in our own family, and then we can expand, right? So keep that in mind, and because at the end we are all connected. We are all somehow here for one reason, and whatever we do will impact other people's life, right? And to finish, before going to the fraternal waters thing, I wanna share this that I found in Genesis that says, fraternities must be the cornerstone of our new social order. So as we go for this transformation, as we go for this new phase of Earth, where we're gonna become a planet for a great generation, fraternity will be part of it. Because we're gonna see each other as brothers and sisters. You're gonna understand that we're not, I was born in Brazil, I was born in Canada, I was born in the US, so we are different countries. No, we're all human beings at the end. We're all spirits created by God, and we're all brothers and sisters. So that will be the new social order. So we might not see that very often now, but people say, oh, we need to make this planet better for the next generations. If you think about, we are the next generations. We're the ones that will come back here in a few generations. So if we are doing something now, it's at the end, it's for ourselves. So if we do something now, it's for in our next life, we get something better, right? And that's what we want. We want to go to a better planet, not a worse planet. So we need to start acting now with whatever we can, with people around us, be more fraternal, so we can go in our next life, this planet will be better for us. Okay? So,
just want to make one point. You mentioned fraternity and charity, very strongly interrelated. Who remember what's the definition of charity according to the Spirit's book? There's even an acronym for that.
Benevolence and indulgence for other people's shortcomings, and then forgiveness.
Yeah, and I think when Marcio talks about, it's kind of easier when we just do the things, right? I give this or I help the homeless. But when you start talking about family, when you start talking about how we interact with each other, like that requires more effort. The indulgence, knowing someone has done something, that someone is as imperfect as I am. And forgiveness, right? So I think that part of fraternity, of indulgence and forgiveness, that is, no, I don't want to say that we get more bonus points for that, but that is the one that requires more effort. And sometimes that is the part of charity and fraternity that goes under the radar, right? And it's more overlooked. So I think it's important for us to remember kind of those points. Compassion, which is all part, I think that's kind of what guides us in doing all that charity. Just want to take that one. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to thank you guys again for having me. And I'm going to talk about Madagascar, one of the projects that we have for Temple Borders. And Madagascar is very close to my heart because that was the project that I went for when I started working with Fraternity Borders as a volunteer. I was just doing some translation there, posts from Portuguese to English for their English page. And I thought that I need to do something more, but I didn't know what. And then I went to Madagascar. When I went there, that changed completely the way that I could help them. That it was like, I need to do something else. And when I was there, I said to the person who was coordinating, I want to stay here. I want to keep working here, doing things here. And she said, no, you need to go back to Canada. And I said, why? Why I cannot? And she said, imagine if everybody would come here and help. The Malagasy people need to leave so we can fix them. That's not the purpose. So you need to go back and you need to do something there to help here. And that's when I went back. In that caravan, there was another person that is also a volunteer at Fraternal Borders. Together with other volunteers, we registered Fraternal Borders in Canada as a non-profit and a charity organization. So since 2019, when we created the organization here in Canada, we have been working to promote the work that we have there. Okay? So I'm going to talk about Madagascar because it's very close to my heart and one of the most places that, poorest places in the world, especially in the south of the island, which there is very little rain there. And it's funny because it's the same island. If you go to the north, they have a lot of rain, they have water, and the south, complete opposite. Both are poor, but it's poorest in the south because of because they don't have water, and that is causing a lot of malnutrition, where 30% or more of the kids are suffering with malnutrition, and Fraternal Borders start there to help those kids. Okay, we have different activities happening there, but everything is about the malnutrition and try to help those kids and the families, because we noticed that even adults, they were having problems with malnutrition, and because they didn't have anything to eat, at the end they were not going to the school, and then all that cycle of poverty was continued there. So the goal of Fraternal Border when we started there was to give food for the kids so they could go to school. So our first group there was about 350 kids that in the morning they would go to the project, have lunch, or they eat there, and then they would go to the school, and then another group would do the opposite, right? Go to the school in the morning and get food in the afternoon. And we continue doing that, but we grow as well. Thank God we are able to help more kids. We have about 6,000 kids, families, people that we are helping today. And they live in, this is one of the houses that they have there. It's very interesting. These places they would have a family of 12 people living there, right? So it's like more like a, I don't know, a place that they go to sleep and that's it. Put their very few things that they have, and we were able, with the help of volunteers, to build 100 houses, all in wood, and have 100 people living there today. So, and it was interesting to see them. We get them to from this small house to their house. They have absolutely nothing. We complain that we have to move a lot of things from one apartment to the other when we move, right? For them it was super easy to move. So yeah, we have about 3,000 children going through the nutritional treatment, and 8,000 being fed there. So we have the main one, the main project, and then from that main project we go to another villages around, and we have about 14 what we call the nutritional centers. Then we give food for the kids there. In fact, we provide the food, and then the community there, they prepare, they have everything there, they prepare for the kids. The project started growing. We have doctors going there, and then we have the dentists going there. So it's a very interesting project that we were able to build there. And I'm gonna show a little bit more, but back to the situation there, we have in total 50,000 people, mainly children, suffering of malnutrition. So what you're doing is still very small comparing to everything that needs to be done there. And thank God we're not the only organization there. There's other organizations helping those kids, but it's still there's a lot to be done. Right. So we serve food for those kids. We also have doctors. One of the good things in Madagascar comparing to the other projects is that for a while we have been having a doctor living there. So we have one doctor, Janaína. She lived there for about, I think, 4 to 5 years. She's from Brazil. She moved there. She was living there. Then when she decided to come back, another doctor said, I want to go. And he's there until now. We have another project in Malawi with refugees. And one of these refugees was a doctor. So he was willing to leave the camp and go to somewhere else. So we hired him to work in Madagascar now. He's living there. So we're very fortunate that in that project specifically we have doctors living there. Usually what we have in Africa is our what we call caravans, that people go, especially doctors, going to the project, treat people for a while and then go back. We're still having those in Madagascar, but having the doctor there is helping a lot.
Sorry, how often do you go there?
Depends. There is groups in Brazil organizing. It's all depends the availability of the coordinator to go there. So me and my husband, we are going once a year at least. Last year we went to Malawi, and then we went also to Madagascar to prepare for a caravan that we're doing right now in November. We have a caravan going in November, but Brazil has, I think, 3 or 4 groups going there per year. Madagascar is challenging to get there. We need to get a plane to the country and then another plane to the south of the island, then drive 4 hours to get to the project. So we spent a lot of time traveling. Last year when we went, we said, let's go for a week. We were in the project for 1 day and a half, right? So but we had to go to be ready for this caravan this year, which will take 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a little bit longer. Malawi do in 1 week because it's from the airport to the project, it's 30-40 minutes. But it's much easier to get there. But Madagascar is one of the places that we need the most now because it's so difficult to get there, and everything is it's difficult there, to get the water. We try it many times until we get the water there in the wells. We had electricity. There was no electricity there. Everything that we have is solar panels that we got, and so everything there is difficult to get to. First, it's an island, and it's very hard to get there. Because that's 4 hours driving from the airport to the project. It's just 100 kilometers, and the road is horrible, and they drive like crazy there. But anyway.
Marcio?
Yeah.
And who are the volunteers? I mean, like you're describing a project that in my mind is like, man, you need a lot of people there in the island to run the project, but also you have like an administrative board, like other people outside of Madagascar making it happen. So can you talk a little bit about the structure too?
Yes, I will in a minute. Let's just cover a little bit of on Madagascar. I'll go back to your question, okay? So this is the centers that we have. Nutrition is the biggest thing that we have, giving to the people there. So this is different photos of the places that we have. Efotag has been one of the places that since June 20, malnutrition has been very severe there. We have been working a lot with that group to help them to get food more often. With COVID, you can imagine how hard things got there, and worse everywhere in the world, but there it became even worse because we couldn't go there, we couldn't do things that we used to do. People started to reduce their donations. We have to cut food from some kids. So we're trying to get back there. Okay, I said water is one of the biggest problems. Thank God we finally got water there in our project. Now we have the wheel that provide the water that we need, but we are buying water to give to people there. And they would go a year without showering because if they have a little bit of water, they would drink or they would cook with that water. Taking a shower is not a priority at all. So that make a big difference, and we see people starting to have a little bit more hope and do things differently because of the water that we have, and we are even sending water to other locations now, thanks to the will that we have. So this is about more about, I don't know if there is any doctor here, but we have doctors going there and help with vaccination, especially for women with prenatal care. We have, it's funny to say that our clinic there is very, very, very simple, but it's better than the hospital that they have there. So a lot of people prefer going there than going to the hospital. But sometimes we also say, no, go to the hospital, let's do the procedures there. But they always come to us first. We also have been training people there. So one of the answers to your question is we have been hiding people there, Malagasy, to do the work there. Okay, we have a very few volunteers that go and the doctor Janaína, for example, she was hired by Fraternal Borders, and we paid her to be there, right? But she started training people, nurses that they knew what to do, so she trained them to do their work. So it has been very nice to see them going and talk to the families, talking to the different villages to talk about how to take care of themselves, how to prepare the food for the kids. They have a special meal, I don't know how they call that, that they prepare for the kids, and so they have the right amount of each thing that they need to put there, so they teach, and you can see the difference in the kids, right? And we now have a school there in Madagascar too. So Madagascar has their public schools, etc. But we also have one in our campus there. It's I think it's the second year. We're getting to the second or third year of this school, which is pretty amazing that the work they are doing there. Charlie, do you want to talk about this school? He's the one who always works with the teachers and.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So the school's in its third year, and when the school opened, it was about 100 children. It started with preschool up to 5, and so each year they're adding new grade levels. This next year they're adding 4 more classrooms, so the school will have 650, 700 students. And the school day starts with all of the children brushing their teeth and washing and changing and putting on shoes. And then they have the breakfast that Marcio was talking about. The breakfast is a mush. It's a nutritional mush. It's not something that we could eat, but it's something to address the malnutrition. And then afterwards, the children are escorted to their classrooms, and the parents stay for prayer circle. So it's not just a school, but it's a community center for the families. And one of the ways that we get the children into the school is because of the meals that we provide. So that's an encouragement for families to send their children. Otherwise, the children are helping their mothers and their parents trying to make a life happen. And so only about 60% of children in Madagascar actually go to school. And so the school is a typical school day. It's a Montessori method, which means children are taught to discover their world. It's about social emotional learning. And then the volunteers who donate glasses and items for basic needs, those are integrated in throughout the day. And so the school is continuously growing. They're adding computers. Teachers are, the school is in French because it is in Madagascar, but the teachers want to learn English, which allows them to better access the world around them. There's playgrounds and basketball courts, so the school is continuously evolving. And so our caravan that we're taking next month, someone asked, is made up of mostly educators. And the purpose of this caravan is to focus on the school and to work around education. And then also the work with Fraternity Without Borders is essentially about helping the community be self-reliant. It's not about us going and giving gifts, it's us going over there and helping them become self-sufficient so they don't need us. And so that's the work that we're doing with the school and with the community while we're there.
Thank you, Charlie.
I have a question, sorry. 2 questions actually. The first one is regarding the meals that you mentioned. So for example, how do you guys get those meals? Is it like company's donation or people's donation? How does that work? And my other question would be regarding if it is provided and any mental health support. So for example, I don't know, therapists or psychologists, one of those like mental health professionals, which I believe it is important as well. Yeah, 2 questions.
So the first question, how do we get support to provide the food? Everything started with a group of friends, right? When Wagner Moura, who was the founder of the organization, he went to Africa for the first time, and he said, I'm gonna help this group of people that he met there. He didn't know how. So he went back to Brazil, and with a group of friends, they start donating and to get the food every month, right? So there is the sponsors that donate every month to the organization. And the sponsors are a person, people, or can be a company too, right? So any type of donation is welcome, per individual or a company one. And so that started to grow, okay? In the beginning, it was like 1 person, 1 kid. And what was happening is that we start to get too much donation for the kids, and we didn't have the infrastructure. So now it's not one person donating to one kid. It's a combination of the amount of money that we are receiving. What can we do with that? Sometimes part of that, when we have the kids registered, we continue giving food for those kids. But we only add more kids when we have the right infrastructure for that, because it got to a point that we needed a better infrastructure. Now, about the support that we give at the mental health that you mentioned, thank you. We do not have anything there right now. What happened is when we have the doctors go in the caravan, usually they ask for different specialties, and if there is someone with that specialty, they would go and help in those cases. Okay, and there in the where we have the project, there is a place that people, let's say only mental health, but even seemingly down for them it's something that they don't know how to deal with. So there's a church, and they put all those people around the church, and they kind of live there. Sometimes they tie them to the tree so they don't go anywhere. They don't know how to deal with that.
It's more related to neurological disabilities?
Yes.
So in our project in Malawi, the health center actually has social workers, therapists, and doctors. So the Malawi project is actually further along. The project in Madagascar hasn't yet reached that stage. So the health center typically has doctors, medical doctors, but they don't typically have social workers and therapists going in. But that's the goal. When Marcio talks about building the infrastructure, the goal is not just to provide food and basic needs, but also health care, medical care, and mental piece along with the education, because it all goes together.
Totally.
And so the idea is to work smarter rather than harder.
Yeah.
And so as the school grows and the project has grown, between the first visit to Madagascar 4 years ago and now, it has radically changed. And so the vision eventually will be that it's not just a health center for medical needs, but a health center for mental, emotional needs as well. So the health center right now, not only does it address malnutrition and dental, but they also talk with women about birth control, which is culturally different than Brazil, United States, Canada, but that is part of the work that's starting to happen there. So it's not just malnutrition, but it's also the preventative care and working with them on the social piece. And we also know, because culturally, the entire family, the entire community will stand around as a social worker or a doctor will have a conversation with a woman about this. And that's so different than Western medicine, right? When we talk to a doctor or a therapist, we don't want anyone around us, including our family.
Sure.
So there's also the challenge of bridging the cultural differences.
And how about the language? Like you mentioned that some teachers want to learn English to be more connected to the world, but now like we have an organization in a non-English speaker country. How do you guys bridge that?
So we have, there is a group of, they're calling Teaching Without Borders. It's a group of teachers that they are training people in Africa, both Madagascar, Malawi, Mozambique. They teach them English. There are people there that they learn in English, and when we go, we hire them as translators.
Okay.
So during the caravan, we have translators helping us to talk to them, and we choose Madagascar because of the French, and Malawi is the two projects in Africa that here in Canada we support because of the language, English and French.
Is there a like an evangelical or a religious
I was about
component?
to
Yeah.
ask you about the connection.
No, so
Faith.
Fraternity is without borders, right? We don't want We don't want this to be a religious thing. There is no religion behind it. And when we are there, we respect their own religions. It's Charlie mentioned about the morning prayer that they do there, and it's beautiful because the group is all there, and then they have a representative from each religion that they have there, and the moment that they do the prayer, it's one, then the other, then the other, then the other. We don't understand anything, but we know, but we know that
God is God.
God is God. So
But the foundation is Christianity. They're Christians, or no?
No. The organization is completely.
No, their faith in general.
Oh yeah, their faith, yes.
So the binding principles, we're there to do charity. We're not there to colonize or impose cultural values on them. And we see religious groups go in that partner with Fraternity Without Borders, such as there's a huge Mormon mission that comes from the U.S. state of Utah. But when they come in, they respect the values, the culture, and the religious. And so the idea behind Fraternity Without Borders is we are all human beings, and we're not there to impose or impart our thoughts and beliefs and values on them.
Yeah.
It's to build them up.
Spirituality is one of the values of the organization. We want to encourage the religions and the different beliefs in the projects, but not imposing any.
And I think that's totally fair because you are respecting their free will to choose, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they want. They're not imposing, as you said. So that's
So it's not in any way specifically associated with Spiritism as far?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Is there exposure in any capacity to Spiritism in any way?
In the projects?
Within the project,
No.
because so it's not even a pillar that is.
No.
It's just you just essentially are building whatever is already there,
Yes.
rather than trying to provide any sort of additional exposure to
Yeah, no.
other thoughts.
Not
Okay.
Not just spirituals, no.
Okay. Fair enough.
If
And
they
this person, Wagner Moore,
Wagner Moore,
is he spiritist?
he's a spiritist, yes. Yes. And Fraternity Without Borders is known in the spiritist movement because he's a spiritist. And I got to know when I don't know if you guys know Andre Moreira. He went to Toronto, and he was the one. He's a director in the organization, and he was there to talk about spiritism. And he brought Fraternity Without Borders. So it's known in the spiritist movement because Wagner is a spiritist, and then the friends that was helping him in the beginning were spiritists. But one of the projects that we have in Brazil, in Fraternity on the Streets, it's led by a pastor in the evangelical, I don't know exactly what church. We have a nun from Catholic Church that she's always supporting the project. So we value spiritualism, but not spiritualism.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we value it's part of our values. One of the values is spirituality. Okay, but this is some have an idea of what we have there. So try to mention about the school and helping them to be self-sufficient, right? We have where you see the workers' house, agroforest, the earthworks. Where's the warehouse, the clinic? So there is maybe it's in there. It's somewhere. How far? But we have people that we have been helping them to start their own business and get their own. I want to go here. So we have people producing food and everything that they produce. Fraternity Without Borders would buy that to put as food for our kids, for our own volunteers, and everything that we produce, they produce, we end up buying it for us. right? We have the bakery. They were selling that in the city. Now all the bread and cakes and everything that they produce there is being used in the school to feed the kids. And when we are there for the caravans, they always bring something to us. I remember one of them, the caravans, they learn how to make pão de queijo. We're so happy having pão de queijo there. They have the soap production. Again, a lot of what they produce, we buy it because we provide the water. In the project, there is a place that they can wash their clothes, they can take a shower, especially the kids. They go take a shower before going to school. And so we have families work on that. Now they have liquid soap and powder soap as well. They are producing, and we're trying to figure out a way to start selling that, so they can get more out of that. Sewing workshop. We brought some. I don't know if you guys noticed in the entrance there is a few things that we brought from them, and we brought it here. Whatever you buy here today, it goes to them. And we have the group that do arts and crafts. They don't have anything today, but when we go in November, I want to bring some of their products too, that they make it there and we can use. This is the new one, the ecological bricks that they are producing, which is pretty cool. If I go back here where we have the city, so this is the city with the 100 houses that we built there. So if you see, everything is wood, and this is the picture. This photo is when it was built, 17, 18, and now it's all dirty and it needs to be replaced. So with these bricks that we now are able to produce there, we want to rebuild all the houses with these bricks. They have art and cultural workshops that they provide there. The environmental education. So we have volunteers that go there, the caravans, and they teach how to take care a little bit more of everything around them. You know, there's not a lot of garbage there. They have nothing, so there's no plastic. But the little things that they have there, it's everywhere. You know, it's a very dirty place compared to where we live here, with the little that they have. So we start to educate them more on how to take care of that, and it's beautiful to see. If you see that lady, it's her name is Mommy, and she started with us as a translator, great English, and then through the help of volunteers, she went to university. She's graduated in business administration. Now she helps with HR in the project. She helped develop other people there and teaching. She has been amazing for the organization. So we want more and more of that. Mozambique is the oldest project. So 15 years that we have it there. We have now kids that went to university and they are back to the project, working in the project, which is pretty cool to see those kids that were there with no family, no parents, you know, hungry, to then be able to go to school, go to university, and then come back to work for us, right? The carpentry that we do everything for, they do, and we use there. So have dental services. When available, we go and take that to other people, other villages that we have there, the vaccination campaigns.
Is there any partnership, like with the government, for example, like when you do a vaccination campaign, how does that fit into the system and how the government?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, to be honest. That is I don't know. I don't know
Is
how
there
that
any
works.
part that the government gets involved or no?
Yes, the government is very involved with there. You know, they, especially when we have the elections there, they are going there, and some of them are against us. You know, there's always something. But
Indulgence, people, indulgence.
Yeah.
But depending on whoever is there, they always come to us asking for help. There is one, they have a project there that they want us to take care of. They want to build a kind of extra courses there for teenagers, after school kind of program for kids, for youth, teenagers, to get them prepared to the work, etc., workplaces. But we're not ready for that yet. So there is some connections. They know who we are. They know the different organizations there. But we connect with them. But there is no dependence on them. You know, everything that we do is funded by the organization, by the donations that we get.
But for example, if you have a school, does that need to fit into the Madagascar curriculum?
Oh yeah, yes.
Do you
yes.
get public employers? Do you have teachers paid by the government that comes and?
No, we pay
Not that.
everything. We follow their curriculum and whatever they have there. We have the Montessori methodology there. We even have a teacher that comes from the capital to the project every 6 months to work with us and teach the teachers how to use the Montessori methodologies there.
The Madagascar government tends to be more restrictive and involved than supportive. So they're involved, but they're not involved to support.
Okay.
They're involved to regulate, especially
Yes.
with the school.
It's normally how it goes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. We're almost at time.
Okay.
Yeah. As you have the
So-
kids and the buses. Sorry.
Very quickly, and I'm happy to connect with you and explain more about the organization, but how in Canada we have Act Madagascar as one of our projects. If you want to support us, there is a QR code that you can. And we are going to Madagascar in November. We are collecting donations to help us with school supplies and the hair salon that we're gonna help them to build there. So it's a Amazon link, just like a wearing gift that you go buy and that get delivered to our house, and then we're gonna put everything together and take to Madagascar with us. I can bring these QR codes back later, but this is about the organization. Happy to take, after the pass, have to take questions.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Louis.
Thank you. Are you okay to do our final prayer?
Yes. Dear God, our Master Jesus, and all the good spirits that are here now, inspiring us, guiding us for the lessons of today, we thank you. Thank you for putting our path this amazing family, the Fraternity Spirit Society, that we all together, we can help each other to become better spirits, to be closer to you, Master Jesus, to be close to you, God, at our hearts and our minds. Reminds us the lessons of today, of fraternity, that we can help those that are in need in any shape or form. Thank you, God, for blessing our lives every day, for sending our way what we need. Thank all the good spirits for being here with us.